sitting in the front row at our annual event. And Floyd starts the way he always does, write down your income goal for the next year. And John wrote $50,000. 12 months later, he's sitting in the same seat at our annual event, because he always sits in the front row. And Floyd said, okay, write down your income goal for the next 12 months. And he wrote $75,000 and thought, you know, last year I wrote down 50 and I hit it. I'm going to write 75. So he did. And 12 months later, guess where he is? Sitting in the front row at our annual event. And Floyd says, write down your income goal. And he writes $100,000, something he'd never done before. And then went like this. How come I didn't write that 2 years ago? Yeah. Sometimes we forget about all the other things just besides what we need. And here's one of them, what you want in addition to what you need. Like, do you want to go on vacation next year? I think you do. You want to buy gifts for people? How about your spouse, your children, your mother-in-law? I love my mother-in-law, so I like buying her gifts. Maybe you don't. Yeah. What do you want in addition to? Maybe you've got some other outside goals besides real estate transactions. Something you'd like to fund, a charity. Then we're going to add a couple more categories. And one of them is savings. Yep, savings. You're allowed to have savings. How much of your income do you want to save? How much of it do you want to give away? Do you have a cash reserve for your business? You know, a good estimate is at least 2 months expenses for cash reserve. And oh yeah, the IRS. You're making your quarterly payments? Yeah, you don't want to wait till October 15th. That's right, because you filed the extension last year. Remember that? Yeah. No, we want to make sure the IRS stays as far away from our business as we can possibly keep it. And the way to keep the IRS at arm's length is file your quarterlies and put that amount into your goal. You know what the percentage is. It's at least 15%. And then you've got your retirement fund, however you happen to be funding that. If you're buying houses to fund your retirement, put that into your income goal. Now you add all those numbers up. Again, we're only doing a ballpark estimate because you're going to go back and do a little research at the end of the assignments. So I understand Floyd is on. Are you speaking to us, Floyd?
Yes, I am. I was just razzing you.
Well, I'm sorry. I wanted to introduce you up front because we all have to say happy birthday to you.
Oh, that's gone. It was yesterday. Doesn't count anymore.
Happy birthday.
I'm going backwards, by the way.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm a year younger than I was last year.
I've already shown everybody the focus organizer. We've already sent it to everybody. Do you remember when you first created that and what you believe its importance to be to everybody?
Well, the when, I don't remember the exact when. It's in one fashion or another, it's been around for a while, but one of the major value points to me with the focus organizer is not so much what a person can arrive at by themselves, but those outsiders like us that are here to help and to be able to have a clear picture of what you want and why you want it and where you're going and all this other stuff. And we have a tendency to want to jump in and help in any way we can. So a focus organizer, in my opinion, is a way for a third party, to be able to offer all the help in the world because you can spot problems in advance and correct them before they come up. So that, I don't remember the exact year though, Mike, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I've carried mine around for at least 10 years. I love having it all in one place. You know, like it's so portable and it's easy to have with you. So I'm grateful that you created that thing. We love it. And the first step is, of course, that you come up with your income goal. That's why we started there today.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go to the second step. And that's part of what we're calling in the assignments, the internal business plan. You know, your numbers are the external plan. Numbers, as you say, take all the guesswork out of it. But the internal plan is what keeps us motivated. And I'll never forget when I saw you do this once. You said, all right, let's say this is your goal. Everybody raise their left hand up right there. Put your left hand over there, and there's your goal, okay? And then put your right hand up over here, and there's your purpose in life. Now, focus on both of them at the same time. Yeah, it's impossible to do, isn't it? Right. What's the only way you can keep your eye on both your goal and your purpose? You got to put them together, right? And
Absolutely.
And when they're not working together, when they're pulling each other apart, you're internally in conflict all the time. I know some people whose goal conflicts with their purpose, so they sabotage one or the other, and that's what we want to prevent. So it's almost like being what's the word, congruent, right, Floyd? So that they work in harmony.
Congruent. Wait a second. Let me look that up.
That's a math word.
Shoot low, we're riding Shetlands. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we do in the focus organizer is we take that income goal and we're going to ask the 5 whys. So you put your income goal up at the top there underneath the words focus organizer. And on line 1, you're going to write down the answer to this question. If you notice over on the left-hand side where it says goal checklist, the first part of this checklist to keep you on track all year is to focus on purpose, or put in other words, put your purpose into your goal and your goal into your purpose. So the way we do that is with these 5 questions. And the first question, you're going to write the answer to this question on line number 1. The first question is, why is that income goal important to me? So you want to write that on that line. Floyd?
Yeah. You know, I want everybody in this call to understand that you guys could have a phenomenal call without my being here, but because I have a great deal of peace having you, Mike, in my life for so many years to help take some ideas and make them come out a little more intelligent, actually a lot more intelligent. Of course, between you and Mary, I have nothing in the world to worry about. But I want to emphasize to people, the goal, that goal, why is that dollars and cents important to you? Like I know in my example, okay, it was all about making the $1 Million Club. I wanted to make the $1 Million Club for the first time, and that didn't mean I made $1 million, but I did so much production where I got inducted into the $1 Million Club. That was what was important to me. It just accidentally I had to earn that kind of money to be able to get in that club. And I believe we all have something within ourselves that we really, it's such a strong reason why that income goal needs to be there. Could be pride, security, peace of mind, proof. Anyhow, that's what I wanted to say. And I knew you knew that.
So I would like to make 2 points about question number 1. First of all, on line 1, you don't write down, why is that important to me? That's the question. What you write on line 1 is the answer to the question, why is that important to me? And more often than not, the very first thing that pops into your mind is what you should write down. Because that's the one that's on the surface. That might be the most important one to you, but it is the one that, all right, I'm getting a little feedback. Okay, that's the one that you need to write down first. The one on the surface. You've got that number. Maybe it's 100,000. Maybe it's 120,000. Maybe it's 642,000. You look at that number and say, why is it important to me to hit that? And whatever pops in, that goes on line 1, the answer. And then you stare at that answer for a while. Like Floyd said, his answer was to make the $1 Million Club, right?
Well, Mike, let me clarify though, because
Yeah.
I think you're really onto something here, and I'm hoping everybody gets this part of it. I think the answer to question or number 1 there has to do something with other people. Like the reason I want to make the $1 Million Club is that much money, et cetera, because I wanted those envelopes to be full.
Yeah.
Those that know that story. I promised Linda she wouldn't have to worry, and I needed that money so she didn't have to worry. So my purpose was so Linda did not have to worry if I had that form to fill out.
Uh-huh. And we call that the surface answer because purpose is not on the surface. Purpose is a little bit deeper than that.
Right.
And how do you find that real deep down, visceral, gut-wrenching, motivating purpose that will really fuel your goal, really fuel your activity to keep you working toward that goal? And the answer is question 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And by the time you get to question 5, almost always you're going to arrive at that really private, personal kernel of desire that defines your purpose. Where every single one of us is unique. Nobody has the same DNA. Nobody has the same fingerprints. We are all, each of us, unique. And each of us has a unique purpose to be here, a reason for being here. It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be world-changing, but it is unique and it's yours. And the way you find it is not by scratching the surface. The way you find it is really dig deep and look deep inside. And once you've got the answer to question 1, ask it again. Why is that important to me? And you've got an answer on line 2 on why what you wrote on line 1 is important to you. And you're going to do the same thing for line 3. Why is line 2 important to me? And why is line 3 important to me? And why is line 5? I know it sounds redundant, but guess what? If you devote the time to it, and don't rush through this, we're not going to do it here right now because you should devote as much time as you need to getting this in place. First, it's your income goal. And second, it's make sure that it serves your purpose, that your purpose is clear and it works in harmony with your income goal, with striving toward it.
God, take the time, make the time to come up with that bottom line answer. Whatever it happens to be, that bottom line answer is now I don't know, it's hard to say your sense of success because all those other purposes were achieved. Difficult to explain, but it's a great tool for lack of a better term.
You know, last week, Floyd, Mary said, let's do our 5 whys. And I said, oh, come on, really? Let's watch the football game instead. and she said, no, we have to do this. We really do, because we're going to start our business plan for next year. And it has to begin with all of that. And so, knowing, Mary, she made me sit down and do it with her. And we took like 45 minutes to go through this together. And it was just a reminder that 2 things have to happen. Number 1, you got to devote the time to it to get down to the nitty and the gritty. And number 2, you don't do it once and it's done for the rest of your life. Because your purpose is going to evolve. It's going to amplify. It might even do a 180 someday. Who knows? So don't think it's one and done. Revisit this exercise on a regular basis, at least once a year, just to make sure that it's still in harmony with your goal. We take a lot of time in our program to do this. I believe it's session 7. And we do that on purpose, because on purpose. See, I said that on purpose.
What was your purpose for saying that, Mike? Oh, never mind.
Good. So if you look over to the left side on this page, you'll see number 1, the goal checklist is focus on purpose. And number 2 is convert to activity. So that's the 3rd thing we're doing today, is we're going to take that income goal that you set first, fortified with your purpose, and now we're going to convert that goal into activity for 2020. And that, folks, is the foundation of any business plan, especially in real estate. Income to activity converter, the good old IAC. Looking down a little bit beneath your financial goal, you notice it shows number of closings, listings appointments. Below that is LFTs. That stands for look forward tos. Things you look forward to, like vacations, things like that. Yeah. So here's the income to activity converter. We're going to do this in 8 simple steps. Actually, it's 4 steps. Well, it doesn't matter. It's a bunch of steps. Just play along, okay? Do it 1 step at a time with us. And I'm going to do one with you with an example income. So you start with your desired income. And you divide your desired income by your average commission. And that helps you arrive at how many closings, that's closed sides, you need for that goal. And I'm going to show you an example of one. Let's say your income goal is 120,000 gross commission to you, and your average check at a closing per side, hopefully you'll have a couple double dips next year or more. By the way, you can only have double dips if you have that's right, listings.
Yeah. Let me write that down.
Yeah, hard to have both sides if you're just a buyer's agent, right? So my average commission check is 4,000. If my desired income is 120,000, I divide the 120 by the 4, and I need 30 closed sides next year to enjoy that income. So I'll let you do the math. And if you have one of these, it could help. Or if you have one of these, you could do it on that. Yeah. They help too. This should be the simplest, quickest step. Should be easy for you to do. And we're going to go to the next one, which is you take that number of closed sides for me, it was 30 in this example, and you separate them into two categories. One category would be the seller side, or as we call it, sold listings. The other side would be the buyer side, or as we call it, sales. So how many of that 30 are sold listings and how many are going to be sales? How do you know that? Well, if you've been keeping track of your closings, and I hope you are, then history will tell you, because history usually repeats itself. Now, the purpose of taking the Floyd Wickman program, among other things, is to become better at being a listing agent and getting more in control of your business by being a listing agent and getting more in control of your time. But I'm going to say a typical good agent is doing about 60-40. So we're going to use a 60-40 ratio. 60% of my closings historically, traditionally, are sold listings. Now, of course, market conditions will affect that. And 40% are buyer sales. So I'm going to do the math. I'm going to take 30 times 60% and get 18 of my 30 closings have to be sold listings. And I'm going to take that 30 and multiply it by 40%, and 12 of my closings have to be buyer sales. If my ratio is 60-40. If it's 50-50, that's 15 each. If it's 60-40 the other way, you're working way too hard for your money. So become a better listing agent. But in this example, what I'm looking for in 2020 is 18 closings from my listings that sell. I'll give you a minute to get your number. By the way, if you follow Floyd's work plan, it should be 60-40, maybe even better than that. We're going to have the tattoo artist at Business Breakthrough to give people tattoos that say listings are the name of the game. Aren't we, Floyd? I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's free this year.
You know, this is a quote from you. I thought I'd share it with everybody.
How many times do I tell agents, please get current photos of yourself? Anyhow, continue on, Mike.
Oh, I liked you back then. I thought
Yeah, I know.
if you get 18 of your listings to sell, how many of those sellers will buy a house from you? Yeah, probably 12. At least 9, don't you think? Half? Because some of them are leaving town and some are dead, who knows? Some are getting divorced. But most of your buyers should come from your listings that sell. By the way, how would you like to get more motivated buyers? Yep, sell their house. That'll do it. Yeah, listings are the name of the game. And it simplifies your business plan, doesn't it? You never have to worry about where the buyers are going to come from. They'll either come from the marketing you do for your listings or from your sellers. So now we've got 2 numbers. The first number was, how many closed sides do I have to get all together next year to hit my income goal that serves my purpose? And the second number is, how many of those closings need to be listings that sell and close? I'm not going to worry right now about where the buyers are going to come from, because they always seem to show up. We're going to go to the next step, which is, how many listings do I need to get so 18 of them will sell and close? That's really the next number. So how many listing appointments would I need to go on to get enough listings so 18 will sell and close? I can tell you the answer, a minimum of 1, and they better have a whole bunch of houses to sell. Yeah, so here's my example. Let's pretend that not all of my listings sell. Let's pretend only 75% of the listings I get actually sell and close. Some sell and fall through, some don't sell, but 75% do sell and close. How do you know that? Well, you keep track of your business all year. So I'm going to divide 18, which is the number I need to sell and close, by 75%. That's different from multiplying something by 75%. It's dividing by 75%. And that tells me I need to get 24 listings so that 18 will sell and close and I hit my income goal. I'll let you do the math now.
Mike, I want to go ahead. You do the math.
So I'm going to take 18, hit the divide key, and 75%. That's how you do it. Go ahead, Floyd.
Yeah. You know, please, I'm assuming everyone's going to be at the business breakthrough. But whether it's a business breakthrough or it's a program or coaching, whatever it is, make sure you get, if this is new to you, get input from a number of different agents. What percentage of my listings could I assume, could I bet on are going to sell and close? Because some of us, we don't necessarily know. And so get a sort of a, what word am I looking for? Get a bit of a survey around your office or through your R squared group. What should be the ratio?
Yeah, there's that word ratio. How important is that to know your ratios?
Yeah.
So here we go. We need 24 listings next year so that 18 sell and close, and we have enough buyer sales associated with them to get to the income and serve the purpose. So I'm going to take that number, 24, and multiply it by what I know to be my average number of listing appointments that I have to go on to get one. Now, as I recall, and correct me if I'm wrong, Floyd, but for 7 years in a row, you averaged 86 listings a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 602 altogether. I did the math. 86.
By the way, I wasn't shooting for that. I was shooting for 5 listing appointments a week.
Right. But you also told me this, that your close rate ratio was 2 out of 5, 40%, right? So
Yeah,
you've done more than 600 appointments to get the 600 listings. That's about 1,500 appointments. So here's my example.
It wasn't all in 1 week. I'm just
saying. I need 2.5 appointments. I know that because I've tracked my numbers. I know what my ratios are. And the longer you track your numbers, the more time that you have numbers tracked, the more exact your ratios are going to be. They're never going to be mathematically precise, but you can get darn close to knowing how much effort you have to put in to get the end result. In this case, I know if I go on 5 appointments, I get 2 listings, 2 out of 5. So that's 2.5 appointments per listing. So I'm going to multiply 24 by 2.5 appointments per listing to get, I need 60 listing appointments next year to hit my goal. You know, it'd be really nice if you just went on 24 and got all 24 of them and could stop there. You probably wouldn't.
Let me write that down.
You probably wouldn't though, would you? No. Yeah, if you were on a streak like that, you'd keep it going. So now I have converted my income to activity. And the activity I've converted it to is 60 listing appointments. So what is, and here's the big question and the reason we do the income to activity converter. What is the one trackable, doable activity that will result in you getting 60 listing appointments? I love that word doable, Floyd. You use that a lot. Only the do's, right?
Yeah.
You can't do dollar volume. Here are some things that some of our students track. And by track, I mean keep track of so they can manage their activity, so they can manage themselves. Something you can measure. Peter Drucker, the great management guru, said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So what is it you can do that will result? Maybe it's, how many appointments do I need to actually schedule? For Floyd, it was 5 a week. That was his one trackable activity that resulted in him getting what he wanted. So it might be listing appointments scheduled. It could be number of 590-10 sessions that you complete. If you've kept track of your results from your 590-10s, you would know. If I do 2 590-10s a week, I end up with, in 40 weeks, 60 listing appointments. You might know that ratio. You might know I need to generate so many leads because I've got this lead to appointment conversion ratio that I'm aware of, that I know because I've tracked it over the course of weeks and months and years and careers. Or it might be I track how many conversations I have. Because I know if I have the conversations, I'll get the leads. If I do the 590-10s, I'll have the conversations. I'll schedule the appointments. What's the one thing you're going to track? It isn't all of those things, because when everything's important,
Nothing's important.
that's right. Yeah, it will just confuse you. So you set a goal for one thing and work on making that one thing consistent. I think before you got on, I showed your quote, you can't fine tune anything until it's first consistent. Now we're going to be consistent with activity. If you look at your focus organizer, it said number 1, focus on purpose. Then number 2, convert income to activity. And number 3, track your activity and results. Keep track of things so that 2 things will happen. Number 1, you can fine tune your plan if your ratios start changing. Maybe you can accelerate it. Maybe you can take more time off. But the second thing is you'll know when you're off track sooner. I remember being asked to consult with a 4-person real estate team in Charleston, South Carolina. It was around this time of year that I got a call, and I couldn't get down there till the 31st. So I was there October 31st with 2 months to go in the year. And they were feeling off track, but they didn't exactly know how bad it was. So we started the day by me asking them, okay, what was your goal at the beginning of the year? And that was easy. It was 15 million closed volume, because they knew that 15 million was the awards level they were shooting for. It would mean the commission and income level they wanted. I said, okay, 15 million, that's good. Where are you now? October 31st. And their answer was, we don't know. And who sees a problem with that? Yeah. And I said, well, take whatever time you need. I'm here all day. Take whatever time you need to figure out where you're at today in making progress toward that goal. If 45 minutes later, they came back with the answer, here it was, 3.9. Ooh, so I'd like you to think for a minute and tell me, what are the odds if you're at 3.9 and your goal is 15 and it's October 31st, what are the odds you're going to hit 15 this year? Yeah, slim and none. And Slim just left town. So here's the real question and the reason why we track these things. When do you want to know that you're off track? Don't you want to know sooner so that you can catch up, right? Floyd, how much extra effort does it take to catch up if you're only a little bit behind?
A little bit.
That's all. But what if you're that far behind? Yeah. What do people do when they get that far behind? They do what that team did. They quit. Right? So, gang, those are the real foundation of the business plan is those first 3 steps. This first assignment to determine your income, fixate on your purpose, and then convert that income into one activity. And then stay on track all year, all next year. Track your activity, record the results, analyze your ratios, measure. Are you ahead or behind? You got to experience progress. You got to see and feel progress toward the goal to stay motivated. And do it every week. Do it every single week. Now, how do you do that? How do you track your results and measure your results and see progress and fine tune and tweak and get it done every single week? How do you do that? Well, keep doing the assignments and do it yourself. Do it all by yourself. Or let us do it for you. That's right. I figured, why not give people a choice? And how do we do it for you? Well, we do it with a combination. It's kind of an unbeatable combination. Yep. It's the 2 days in Lexington. That's the 18th and the 19th. Monday, Tuesday, at this Griffin Gate Marriott. We're calling it 2020 Vision. What do you think of that, Floyd? Is that clever?
I love it.
And you will be there, yes?
I'll be there.
Oh yeah. And if you're not now, this will give you an opportunity to meet all kinds of people who are currently in the R² coaching program, where what do we do every week? We track your activity and results. We measure your progress toward a goal. We troubleshoot the ratios. We fine tune your plan. Yeah, you don't have to be in this alone. If you want to be, that's okay. That's why we're doing these assignments free, and we want you to have them. But if you agree that a group of people working together as a team for a common purpose will always produce more than a group of people just working as individuals, if you believe in teamwork, then the combination of 2 days of business planning, putting 100 heads together, not just 1 or 2, and then being with an R² team for the whole year, that will get you on track and keep you there. Now, if you're not registered for Business Breakthrough, it's $395. If you use the code webinar, though, you get $100 off. And that code is good for today and tomorrow. The code is webinar, and that'll get you $100 off the ticket price to Business Breakthrough. And you'll hear all about R² when you're there. So Uh, Floyd, thank you for being on. I know you had something you wanted to say to wrap up before we sign off.
Well, just, I was listening to the tail end of that, but I've seen it again and again and again all these years. But I want people to come to the business breakthrough, those people that have their doubts, their concerns. And at the end of that business breakthrough, you're going to have so many answers that are going to eliminate so many of those doubts. And I'm going to be there. And if you feel you didn't get the answer you're looking for, come ask me. I'll talk to you as many times as I have to. Get involved in R squared. Accountability. Let somebody hold the hammer over you and say, come on, make those calls, do those. Between the business breakthrough and R squared, you couldn't fail if you tried. Go ahead, I'll challenge you. So anyhow, that's all I have to say, Mike. Great job. And thanks for having me as a visitor. You could tell I wasn't expecting this that much. Otherwise, I would have worn a sport coat. I'm sorry, everybody, but I see some of you are pretty casual yourself. Cool. All right.
Well, love you, and I can't wait to see you in Kentucky. And happy birthday again.
Thank you.
Or happy unbirthday today. And please, everybody, take the time to go through the 5 whys. Take as much time as you need to really get down to that kernel, what your motivation is. Take the time to do your research and come up with your desired income goal with all of those categories, and then convert that goal to activity. Now, we'll help you do the activity. If you got your own team, that's good. Just remember that as a team, we're here to help you because our core values are to always live by the get by giving philosophy. Hope you got what you came here to get today. To always make our client's #1 goal our #1 goal. Whatever your goal is, we're going to make it our goal. To always live up to our standards despite temptations to lower them. To always be willing to work toward the common good. And Floyd's favorite, to always do what we say we're going to do, sometimes more, just never less. Floyd, if you've got a minute or two, would you be willing to take a question? If anyone has a question from the
if there's a question, I'd be happy to try and answer it.
Well, if you have one, come off mute and or raise your hand, and Terry will take you off mute. You got a question for Floyd?
Okay, we're good.
Yeah. So thank you for being here.
Okay.
Have yourselves a wonderful day. Thanks, Floyd. Thank you, Terry.
Good luck to all of you.